How about keeping all of our kids healthy on the athletic fields during the new school year? We have head athletic trainer at Pacific University, Eric Pitcairn, with us now. Did I say that right, Eric?
You did, thank you, Drew.
You're welcome, Eric. So this is a serious issue. Regardless of how old your student athlete may be, they're getting involved again in fall sports right about this time of the year. We want to make sure they stay safe. So what about specializing or not specializing when you have a very young student athlete? Do you believe that it's okay, even at second, third, fourth grade, for them to be specializing in a sport at this age?
I think really the idea is to just get out and play. When we were kids, the idea was get out of the house, go play, come back at dinner time, and then go back out and play some more. And really what it is the young athletes nowadays are spending all of their time saying they want to be a baseball player, they want to be a basketball player, and they're spending all of this time dedicated to one thing and not remembering what it's like to go do things as a fun young athlete or just a kid, and then being able to say, oh, I developed different muscles, I developed different skills because I played football, basketball, baseball, and then I played some volleyball in the summer too.
Sometimes I think, oh, these kids, they're young, they can't get hurt the way we can get hurt now that we're a little bit older, but is it still important for even the young student athletes to be stretching, to be preparing their bodies before they go out and play a soccer game or a basketball game?
Even more so nowadays with the development of specialization, being able to develop sport-specific muscle groups and being able to say, build in the extra half an hour before a game to stretch, to warm up properly, to weight lift properly, to develop core stability and strength that you're not getting if you're just going to go out and jump on a field and play a game.
How about diet? I always find as a parent, it's my responsibility to make sure those kids have eaten well before they go to the ball field. Maybe I'm putting too much emphasis on that. Maybe the kids don't need all the fuel in the world.
No, absolutely. They need as much fuel as you can give them in a safe way. Obviously, you don't want to eat an hour before a game, but 2 to 3 hours before, you want to load them up with enough calories, protein, carbs, and just enough fats to get them through the competition. If they're playing a 3-hour football game, they can't rely on just a protein bar an hour before a game. So you're doing the right thing by giving them fuel to get through and then fuel during the games. I know for us, our student athletes get Gatorade and a protein bar at halftime just to make it through the rest of the game.
Okay. Another word that a lot of our viewers are probably more familiar with now than we were, say, 20 years ago, concussion. How should these be handled? There's lots of advice out there, but just generally speaking, if your son or daughter is involved in what may be a concussion-like situation, what do you do as a parent?
As a parent, you have to know your child. You have to know your child's mannerisms, the day-to-day workings of how they think and play and feel, and understanding that situations can happen where a concussion might not just be a giant blow to the head, it might be a whiplash-type injury, and being able to see and recognize when your son or daughter is not acting right, and then calling the right people, getting them in to see their primary care physician, optometrist, dental, if they have some other stuff going on, to where they're not just going to try and wait it out and say, nah, it'll go away in a few days, because it doesn't necessarily go away in a few days, and then they're at risk for second impact syndrome, where they could have rapid swelling and a bleed in the brain, and they could die from it, which is really the extreme case of it, and we just tell everyone to scare them that, but it's also
to raise
awareness, to say, hey, your son or daughter's not acting right, you should probably get them taken care of and checked out.
Lastly, what about the idea of an off season? I think those used to exist. They don't seem to exist so much anymore. Is it critical to make sure that your young student athlete has an off season before baseball bleeds into soccer, that bleeds into basketball?
Absolutely. Just letting your body recover. I mean, you look at the NFL, NBA, and MLB, everybody has an off season, 2 to 3, 4 months long, depending on the season, because your muscles and your body need that time to just relax and rest from the rigors of playing full-time sports, especially if you're specializing. 9 months of baseball straight, you're going to need a few months just to let your body catch back up and let yourself develop and then grow new muscle and get into a situation where you can do another sport even.
Eric, thanks for joining us today. Again, Eric is the head athletic trainer at Pacific University. I say go Boxers.
That's right. Go Boxers.